Stupid. Okay. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Yeah, I guess I was watching this other channel, and he actually had about 300 people in there, but he said there was no notifications. Well, the people were saying they weren't getting no notifications. So as weird as it may be, it's something I guess that happens, right? I'm gonna play a little jazz. Turn it down so get a little read in. It's triple digits. It's been triple digits for like I think the last 4 or 5 days. Me, I actually love it. People look at me walking around with a hoodie on. They're like, well, all my family knows in the summertime I used to run around with sweats, t-shirts. I don't usually wear no drawers though, but in the wintertime I'll go out there in a t-shirt. Some of you saw me grounding in the snow. T-shirt, tank top, shorts. 15 degrees, 20 degrees, but it's actually just conditioning. That's all. It's conditioning. Okay. I had to eat something, guys. I was laying here and I felt famished. Didn't really have to eat something, but I went out there, I had to water my neighbor there in Mexico, so I had to water all the plants in the foyer, everything. So it's a lot. And the big patch of grass out there. For some reason, it looks a little greener since I've been letting this one walk on it. He's all looking in the window. Stop being so nosy. Don't worry about them. What we're gonna read today is, of course, we're gonna get a little bit of William Cooper. I want to keep that going. I read all the way to the end, and Shio. And you think about a time when something was being researched and people were going bah humbug, bah humbug. Well, everything he wrote, everything he has litigated is, spot on. You see it. And then you would sit here and say, well, the general, what's the brother who's in the so-called White House who made his millions? All he wants is more power. They say absolute power corrupts. And it does, people. Even in this fiction. And when you get to go to these parties and do things that nobody else is doing, they call all-inclusive. You would sit there and believe that there will still be some moral subjugation. I would guarantee you that at all those parties, only 1% that have morals and don't stay long. But they know in order to be in, to know what's going on, they carry themselves accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to start off with the custodian of the times, get into the navigate across the ice walls. Just going to read a couple paragraphs. I'm not going to read long on that because I want to get back to the original history of ancient America, and then from there we're going to go to Behold a Pale Horse. I want to come back around 7 o'clock, so I know it's going to be late. I don't care if it's 1 or 2 people I'm going to read, because I want to read Gods of Eden, Reptilians, and Anunnaki, and the Hathamat material. Now, I have a friend from Chicago, guy I served with. He's half Italian. He said, man, for a little while, they've been hearing sounds, and it's only in certain areas. And I was like, well, shouldn't you hear it everywhere if it's that loud? He said, yeah, but he says when he was researching it, he said that people in Australia, Newfoundland, a number of places have been hearing these sounds like horns. I'm just going to leave it at that because we know there's individuals who believe whatever. I'm not a religious person because I know the origin of it. A lot of people have a hard time with that. I watched a brother who's ex-army, who's Iranian. Well, he's American, and he served in the army and everything. Like he was born in Iran, and he was talking about the fact that a lot of people believe Christianity between Armenians and Iranians. It originated with them, and they speak the ancient Aramaic, which is fictional. Because if they would read all the Kesslers, and I would love to be able to sit down and have a conversation with them, but I got to put my ducks in a row. Because it's never about emotions. It's never about feelings and emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's about information. And so I was reading also after I conversed with him. He said, man, can you look into it? And I said, I will. I'll look into it. But you got to remember, there's a lot of things going to be happening. It's going to, people are going to drop dead standing. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. There's a lot of people out here that call themselves spiders, and when the bullets start flying, they're gonna freeze up. I'm not talking about knucklehead kids, where music and everything has influenced them, broken families. I'm talking about they don't know what it's like to have thousands of rounds coming every second. all around you. They're not going to have there's no jumping around, hopscotching, no. And then things going boom where you can't hear. Blood's coming out the corner of your eye, your ear, and your nose. They're not going to get it. Okay? And all these so-called tough guys, all right? You're not going to get it. When you see people incinerated right in front of you. So whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. Because nobody's taking the right procedures to stop whatever it is. Nobody's elevating themselves, this and another. There's a reason why I wanted 3,500, because I knew only 10% would get the message when I tell the story. Even as incredulous as the story is, incredible as the story may sound, I hate saying the word story. But anyway, 10% will carry it. The others will goof it up, add stuff, make it theirs, and all this kind of weird stuff. When him calling me and talking to me, I was like, what? You heard what? I long to hear things like that. I mean, out of the ocean, out of the sea, we heard things. When we have watch duty, walking the flight deck, you heard things. And we look over at the midst of the night, calm water, and it was like the sea was singing to us. And we would just be quiet. We wouldn't say nothing to nobody. We wouldn't you don't log it in, because you'll be sitting in a room being interrogated. You just going about your business like, yeah, man. All right, man. And flashlight, and you don't carry a night. You're on a flight deck, some hundreds of feet up, thousands of miles out of sea, at least what we've been made to believe. And we just don't say nothing. You dig what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this reading going. All right, because it's gonna start getting pretty decent in here, and you're probably gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna let the music play in the background. It's about 2 hours worth. Turn it down a little more than that. I've got the woof over here turned off, but I got this one over here, so it might boom a little bit. Last when we were on here, the female that's brought in there, I'm not gonna say the names, so I'm gonna read them all. She was commenting that how he may have a photographic memory, because they were all wondering about this history. You know what I mean? And you see the thumbnail I'll put up there is the living side and the dead side. But is the dead side really dead, or is it an illusion? Is the living side really living, or is it an illusion? You get what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. Custodians of Time by Robbie Cottrell. We kill it, we save it, we rob, and we are robbed of it. We lose it, and it is with us everywhere we go, but none of us has the power to stop it marching or to stop it, period. Time. Most powerful weapon there is. Regardless of how it's misused or used or utilized, or however it's perceived, the perception of it, time. Both newcomers to the sessions agreed with Patricia, although Sydney Hill added a note of caution. This is after she made the photographic memory statement. It's his voice that troubles me. That monotonous voice leads me to believe that he is testing us in some way, and it gives me feelings of being uncomfortable. Remember I said, if somebody's there to help you, or they have information that you don't, they're going to share it with you, right? Unabated. It means they're not going to charge you for it. They're not going to hold you hostage and have you wait around. It's one thing to be assisting people or teaching people something, or having them look at something on a different view, but it's another thing if you're telling a history and you're being narcissistic. If he's playing with them, or maybe he's checking to see if they remember anything. Anyway, let's go on. I might be wrong, but I'm worried that he might eventually reveal something we don't want to hear or see. Marcus Thomas started best to keep his mouth shut. Knucklehead. He couldn't stand these academic fools, and he felt he was wasting his time by attending. With regards to the others, if they wanted to be deceived, be it on their own heads. Now we have Khonsu, the god of the moon, as well as healing. And the falcon on it. Now pay attention to a certain part. This is an American falcon. You could tell the American from the Egyptian or the falcons over there. This is an American falcon. Do y'all know what? Do you know the difference? I made a post. Do y'all, any of y'all recall seeing that? That way, the distinction is very, very easy, and it's there, and it's very loud. Has nothing to do with Mongols or Mongolians or anything. Half-breeds, Asians, not at all. That's ours. Remember that. So let's get into section 4, Ghosts and Shadows. I wanted to read a couple of paragraphs here that are very short. This is Wednesday, 4th March, 2020. Present is Professor Appleyard, Dr. Bolas, Inspector Marcus Thomas, Miss Tricia Hunt, the historian, and Sydney Hill, the psychiatrist, and Miss Leslie Westbrook, Director of Mental Health. Breakfast that morning was strained in the Thomas household. Marcus kept his thoughts to himself, and two could play at that game. Where's the toast, Debs? Excuse me. If you want toast, you know where the toaster is, Marcus Thomas, and don't call me Debs. Debbie hated being called Debs. It always made her think of an old porn film she had been forced to watch with her girlfriends. She didn't like the name Debbie either. Debbie does Dallas. Anyway, but her parents had innocently lumbered her with the name, and Marcus knows her hate, for he took great delight in teasing her. Where the white women at, right? No, Debbie does Dallas. Miss Thomas scowled and poured herself a second cup of tea, leaving her husband to think back to last night. When he had eventually reached home, he found that his wife had gone out, leaving him to fend for himself. That had never happened before in 35 years of marriage. He felt that he should always come first. Let me reiterate, Marcus was first. Later, as he pulled into the hospital car park, he heard Debbie's voice inside his head, recalling what she had said when he emerged from an uncomfortable night in the box room earlier. You are a bloody idiot. Fancy sleeping in there when the garden shed is much bigger. For that is what he had chosen to do, having lost his argument before bedtime. For Marcus hated being out of control of things at home and paid the price by putting up with a better forgotten night's sleep in the box room. And Marcus was an idiotic fool, and he knew it. But he did not want to continue their argument over breakfast, especially as he didn't want fried eggs thrown over his new jacket. Yeah, it gets more intense, y'all. We're gonna stop right there and go on to the next book. It gets more intense because we're gonna start getting into more of the recipient, the patient speaking. And it's gonna have you like, what in the world? Okay, especially when we get to this one part that I really like. Let me go to it. When I travel back in time, I am able to only take on the shapes of shadows. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, sound here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it gets really good. All right, let's get the navigator across the ice walls. I believe, what were you pretty much near? Yeah, here we go. Let's do stuff. Okay. Hold on. Chapter 13, El Arca, the prosperous capital. And then we get to 14, artificial walls. Let me make sure. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. All right, El Arca, the prosperous capital. Let me get a little more coconut water. I need to go fill this thing up. All right. Scott, Snoo, Herb. Enjoying that sun, babe girl? Mikey, Gray Wolf. What's going on, beloveds? Scott, all right, gotcha. West Side, what's going on? Hey, Rondo, what's going on, beloved? Yeah, I had to send because I knew I had a funny feeling what's going on. Hey, brother, I'm French. What's happening, brother? Trauma, what's going on, beloved? I knew that after watching him talk on it, it was like 10, 15 minutes before I was making this. I was like, wow, he said no. Everybody said no notifications going out, but they just kept going to see if he was going to do a live because we were talking about something about Ukraine. Okay, so they were all coming in for that, and I was like, well, let me send it out again because I probably set it up and no notification will go out. So let's get into chapter 13, Arca, the prosperous capital. I think I might have read this. Anyway, after spending that strange night of fire mixed with many theories that we were trying to deduce from Shiki's book, it was a very strange sensation that went from extreme to extreme. To think that we were a point far away from everything, and we had come to understand from one minute to another that we were the source, that conscious energy of the celestial lands that lived in each one of us, and also united us to the ancestral humans, and to all those who had lost their lives in each reset, manipulated, and hidden. We began to spot birds fluttering around our ship, denoting that we were approaching land. Although we suspected it, we could not confirm it with the captain all the way. But the city that awaited us was again El Arca, the modern capital of the ancestral republic. The first rain since we arrived in these lands began to fall very slowly, just when I was beginning to think that in these latitudes there was no such phenomenon. The lights of the city were coming on in the distance, and this immense city of El Arca was an invitation to imagination and confidence that such a perfect and peaceful life could be possible, also in the dark environment between the ice walls, without the control of the custodians or any intruder race among us. We also began to understand that simplicity, the custodians look like us people, regardless of whatever they are. Okay? Understand that simplicity was what made everything else great. Stepping on the grass with bare feet and the birds perching in the most modern harbor. Now, the very rain that gave it a tinge of melancholy, gray from the sadness of thinking that not all of humanity was going to be able to witness that what our eyes were seeing right now. Even though we had lived through a furious attack and the most devastating we had ever seen, this immense city gave us the assurance that all would be well. Now remember, they fought in the war. That this could never fall. Millions of ancestors were living their lives as close to what we once dreamed of as children. It says children, but children. What we dreamed of for future generations, a place of peace and love, where there is no pain or suffering, where work does not mean exploitation, where there is no dirty politics or wars for territory or power, no discrimination or stereotypes, no social difference. Everything is shared and happiness is breathed. Welcome to the Ancestral Republic was heard in the distance, in their own clear language, according to Butler's translation. Now, what was Butler's plan now? We wondered. The captain commented that we could get lost and investigate by immersing ourselves in a little inside the city, and remember that nothing could be bought with gold or used money, since they used another form of exchange there. He explained the plan was not clear, but he would. And the plan was not clear, but he would immediately meet with Fael and other leaders from different important places in the Republic, mind you. And the boys got lost in the big city, and I was left alone, pensive amidst a torrential rain that fell on my face. Although of calm appearance, dejected inside, I kept sinking in my deep thoughts of a human future that could not be. Dreaming, huh? How to overcome this shared misfortune? I asked myself again and again. It's a beautiful thing to imagine, isn't it? Well, do you know the power of thought? Okay, that's all I'm going to say there. I still had so much to discover in that great book of Shiki. Would I find any halo of calm in it? This information received had fallen worse on me than on the rest. And I knew, and I now felt guilty somehow, that I could not do anything to free the millions that were behind. And that in addition, we had been persecuted and attacked in these distant lands. What heart resists before such an onslaught? What heart could not suffer for the now distant brothers that still remain within this vile environment? Many hours had passed, and I was walking through the streets of this colorful city. Some few people were crossing my path. I felt their understandable strange look. My way of dressing was not suitable for this modernity. And then I felt like a caveman, even worse. If I tried to talk to them, so I continued my way, only observing without interfering. Would they understand that we were brothers and shared the same sufferings? And a myriad of questions crossed my mind at every step, and the few people I looked deeply in the eyes. One man even tried to talk to me, but I only managed to wave my hands, explaining that I did not understand what he was telling me. I only said Fael, as if to answer a name known to all, and this man pointed to a large building a few blocks away. There were not even puddles of water that accumulated. The whole system was perfectly functioning, so that it did not generate any flooding. Modernity hit my face so many times that it was difficult to interpret. I dare not even mention the drawings that came out of the walls that projected humans interpreting the most beautiful melodies that sweetened the ears of passerbys. Holograms. I returned to the port somewhat crestfallen. I had everything a person needed in front of my eyes. And I was before absolute happiness, but the pain of not being able to share it generated an immense sadness in me. I also kept seeing the faces of the people who fell and reborn when they first got to Ancestral Republic. And Butler was returning, driving a modern vehicle. When he saw me, he stopped it, and invited me to get in. His face transmitted some joy. Then he commented to me, "William, we have not been able to get the Anakin to help us directly. It is understandable, you know. They do not want to risk their entire race again. But I know that they will help us in the long run. We have won this battle, and we do not believe that the custodians will attack these lands again for a long time. We gave them a lesson that our technology is still more alive than ever. And they tested us, and I assure you that they came back with fear." Then he continued explaining to me with some questions that I could ask on our way to the port of El Arca. Apparently, the Guardians were not aware of the technology that had been developing in the Ancestral Republic in the last 100 years, in conjunction with the Anakin race. They thought that this attack would make them directly tremble and possibly surrender immediately, as happened in ancient times in Asgard and other lands. This had to be taken advantage of in the following years if we were to have a chance to regain the known lands and free the brethren from the last reset. But all should be careful. Any move that is not planned in advance could cause another reset and the death of millions, if not billions. And y'all know what that means. Nuclear, thermonuclear, and there's other weapons besides nuclear and thermonuclear. Hyperbaric bombs, things that can blow up everything and leave the building standing. Destroy you and leave the buildings. I'm serious. Destroy the petroleum tires, the gaskets, the glass, anything silicon, carbon based. Destroy it all, and the building still, the vehicles, metals still standing. Okay? So next chapter will be chapter 14, and that'll be the artificial walls. It's a little more in depth as to how, and we should know why by now. And as you can all see, people are dying younger. They're not living to be older. That's a sad state, isn't it? All right, let's get a little bit of this George Jones here. An original history of ancient America. Oh my God, that feels so good. Where's my back scratcher at? I got that long pole. No, it's over here. A lot of my radios. You know what? I'll get it later, man. That thing, I'll be jacking my back up. George Jones, an original. I didn't show y'all. My apologies. And I always show y'all the book. And so we're going to get to George Jones, an original history of ancient America. And this is Elderbron classic. I got so many books of Elderbron. Phew, man, they make some good books. Okay. What was that? Oh, I was working on my Vietnam. Yes, I was working on my Vietnam. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. Oh, holy smoly. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what's my highlighter. Yeah. Where the Tyrians are, you may expect to hear some story of tradition about swans. Well then, here's a story and tradition together with the historical fact, and swans form the material. But they have been dying in music for centuries, yet unregarded. They have been as a symbolical record, buried in a people's sepulchre, and which the opening of a nation's tomb has alone brought to light. The classic reader will remember that Jupiter assumed the form of the bird of Canaan, and when he sought and won the love of Leda. Okay, we will now endeavor to translate the hieroglyphics and sculpture upon and around the chief altar of Copan. The chief altar of Copan, excuse me. I've got to highlight and stuff, so you can excuse me in marks. We commence with the proposition that the hieroglyphs merely explain the sculpture, and that if the sculpture can be explained, the sense of the hieroglyphics as a consequence will be translated. If we shall read the sculpture aright, we believe that it will be found to record a national act of friendship, whereby the Tyrians had the power of reaching America. Now, we will not anticipate our history by now, stating the detail of that fact, of that act of amity, excuse me. It will be sufficient for the present purpose to mention that the act occurred between the Sidonians and the Tyrians. It was an act of friendship in front of death itself, and death in its most terrific form, both of torture and of infamy. They're like beasts. Anyway, Mr. Steffens, in writing of the 36 compartments or squares or hieroglyphics on the top of the altar says, and you know they can't decipher nothing, they without doubt record some event in the history of the mysterious people who once inhabited the city, for example, Copan. We believe it, and that the basal sculpture on the four sides, as already stated, illustrates the hieroglyphics on the surface. The details of the sculpture must be first reviewed in order to establish even an analogy of the accessories of the altar. First, the two serpents and the same are around the walls of Uxmal. It's funny they don't talk about that. You know, are y'all aware that they destroyed a lot of dragon monuments and stuff, statues? Are any of y'all aware of that? That they destroyed a lot of dragons? South America and North America, they destroyed a lot of dragon statues. And they took a lot and put them in the Smithsonian in their little underground, whatever they have. Okay. The serpent with the Tyrians, who copied it from their neighbors of Egypt, which is a lie, was their Agatho demon. Listen, the Agatho demons, or good demons of the country, and would naturally be used to illustrate any strong act of faith or friendship, and as a mutual act of amity had taken place between these two nations, the mother and child, for Tyrius was the daughter of Sidon. It follows that two serpents were necessary to illustrate the compound act. Two serpents, so the mother and the daughter. Pay attention. When you look at this stuff, it's like, it's kind of, when you start to have a little understanding of stuff, my awakened peoples, you start realizing that there's something, amiss, especially with religion and stuff like that. When I hit a beat religion up, well, I'm just expressing something, okay? And we have seen an ancient Tyrian coin, on the reverse of which is a serpent entwining an egg. It may be translated thus: an egg is the emblem of life. What is the womb? The mother. And it being very large upon the coin in proportion to the serpent, represents the germ of the nation's life. Aren't we the serpent people? The serpent, by coiling around it, presents the good demon, and it means not people. Serpent doesn't mean slee stacks, lizard people. Okay, so have a little clarity there. We're talking about endearments of life, a relationship, animalism, stuff like that. Not eating or foraging for them, but literally the connection. The serpent, by coiling around, is present it presents the good demon, power or spirit. And how would you want people to retract and move away from that? Or you create a demon, Lucifer, Satan. How dare you disrespect Lucifer? I'm a fuckful person then. Anyway, of the country protecting the egg or nation from external injury by its numerous embraces, the warmth of which would also bring it into active life. Now the altar is described as standing on 4 globes cut out of the stone. What does that sound like to y'all? Does that sound like an ark? Now a globe conveys the idea only of a perfect sphere, but from the drawings of the altar, these globes, plural, not plural, are distinctly oval, and consequently represent the form of eggs and not globes. Sound like that idiot Neil talking about the earth is not really round and the glassy, that it's like an oval shape anyway. On the coin above alluded to, the egg is a principal emblem, and that of life, and those symbols forming the cornerstones or foundations of the altar seem to illustrate that the story of the sculpture represents the very existence, or rather the birth of the nation in its present locality, Kopan, for example. This we believe is the fact, and the warrant for the assertion we will hereafter prove to be founded on the authority of classical history itself. This altar we have ever regarded as the keystone to the arch of these historical sepulchres and architectural wonders of the Western wilderness. The serpents and the eggs then are essentially Tyrian emblems. Oh, it gets deeper, y'all. I don't go far ahead on everything. Some stuff I'm reading with you as we go, but on this book, I had to go ahead a little bit, quite a bit, because I want to have a little clearer understanding. And also had to put some periods and commas and some of the spelling, and sometimes I miss some of the stuff. You know, you see me, I'm making a correction because this is literally from that time. It's typed on that old typewriter. Yeah. Okay. I gotta get back into my Vietnam. Yeah, I love the Vietnamese language. Well, I love a lot of languages, but it is complicated. You hear me? All right, let's get into some William Cooper. Behold a pale horse. It seems like a lot of people. I don't know if it's me. A lot of people have been buying. I went to see the purchases. The purchases are up on this book. What is going on? Anyway. When we last left off in here, we were looking at Neil Knox, the Firearms Coalition, Box 6537, Silver Springs, Maryland, 20906. And that was because please download the file. And we were talking about as far as the note, demonstrated the reasons for the Second Amendment and the reasons it must be defended. That went on December 14, 1981, when General Ashkenazi declared martial law in Poland. Okay? Portuguese. You see the president of Portugal, well, Brazil president now, I think he's Portuguese. Ashkenazi. Okay? No, I think it's a brilliant, it's a African looking dude, right? I gotta go back and look again. So that's neither here nor there, but check this out. Author's note. This is a lesson that we hope to learn only from reading and not in the manner learned by the Poles and Lithuanians. After reading the above, I hope you will agree with me that anyone who attempts to subvert the Second Amendment or any other section or legal amendment of the Constitution is a traitor. Know this. That's why I say Biden, the ATF, FBI, they are traitors. They are to be ignored. Listen to me, people. They are traitors. Traitorous, and they are not who you think they are. And the Federal Reserve are carrying themselves as traitors. I mean, not the Federal Reserve, the Federal, see, this is what happens when these judges, okay, they're supposed to act it upon this ATF rule in 30 days. And what do? Y'all need to know I don't want to hear about Clarence Thomas or nothing. They're traitors. And until y'all start realizing this, until you realize this, because I know some of y'all are not reading the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or any of it. How many of y'all have read the Federalist Papers entirety? I have original Federalist Papers, y'all. I have original Federalist Papers. How many have y'all read them in entirety? See, this is why people are not moved. It's like California. When they were talking about Flint, Michigan water, I'm like, you people are drinking poo-poo water. Mostly everybody really is. And they're adding chemicals. How come nobody's went and tore that up? I think America is filling this space. You got too many Peckerwoods running around talking about white power looking like damn retards. You got Asians and Mongols playing native and they don't even know the true history of what a reservation is or anything else. And instead of coming together and realizing we can hash that out in the air because we know who we are still a great damn number. But because we're looking at these young children doing TikTok and everything else and talking about black, this, that, and other who have been so destroyed, and then we share their stuff as if they're saying something. Whenever you see me sharing it, I'm waiting to see somebody saying, what the hell is she talking about? And I'll be like, exactly. So why don't you go over there and comment on the page and see how they react? Nobody wants to carry the banner. Nobody wants to be the, what do they call it? The guide on. You veterans, you military guys, you know what I'm talking about when I say guide on. Carry the company flag, the colors. All right. Let's get back and read. Anyway, the Constitution is a traitor and should be arrested and tried for treason. And not no general court-martial either, a summary. I hope that you will copy this chapter and distribute it as widely as possible to as many people as possible. Education is more than half the battle. In case you have not guessed by now, the fact that most Americans own at least one firearm is the only thing that has kept the New World Order at bay. A ray of hope. As of January 8, 1991, less than 10% of all California gun owners have registered their firearms. Many Californians stood in the streets with weapons in hand and publicly burned the registration forms. Network news did not cover these demonstrations, and no mention has been made on television that California gun owners have ignored this unconstitutional gun registration law. And then what do? They vote for Newsom. Just like that nigga in New York, that mayor, that with the earring, that bisexual, whatever. I'm a sapiosexual. If you good up here, then we connect. You dig what I'm saying? Now the other part is man and woman. And yeah, that's the lock on that. And a whole lot of women's. You dig what I'm saying? But it's all weirdos. And these liberal, look at these liberal states. The most gun laws and the most damn shootings and murders. Now you have psyops happening too. And in the Republican states, niggas are shooting people and getting mofos are taking headshots before the police get there. So they can't get the agent to get the little whoop whoop. Now, dude might have been shooting blanks with squibs on walls and stuff, and now he's a dead motherfucker now. Part of the game when you want to play it. That's right. Conservative states is where the civilians are getting off most of the headshots before the police get there, because we armed to the boozle. Over 3 million, but the police can never stop. Crimes are stopped because of us with guns, averted and diverted. I look at that sister who they locked up, who shot into the floor, into the earth, because of that abusive, and they locked her up. Go and do the research on it. Until our people come together, like they did at Bundy Ranch before they murdered him. All them people out there and made the FBI stand out. They out there with rifles and everything, like they're gonna do another with the ex-Green Beret, living off the grid, not bothering nobody. Murdered his wife and his children. The dog. You know what I'm saying? And Waco, Texas. These individuals are traitors and they're sick. Okay. Next, we're gonna get in chapter 11. It's called coup de grace, which is coup de grace. All right. Now, the thing I just spoke on, you can research. It's not like I'm making up some stuff. All right. It's information that's there. Just a reminder. What was the name of it? Anybody know the name of what I was talking about? You know what they do? They have one of their little agents, an ex-military dude, who's probably well alive, go and blow up an FBI building, kill a bunch of children. You know they sacrifice children. Why are these cops and these feds and all these motherfuckers, why are they not out there chasing down these people who are stealing all these children? Because they probably networking about it. Because I showed you the video with the two cops going after the little melanated boy. Boy's walking home a block down the house and they're going at him like sadistic bastards. Now these two individuals probably from underground. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there, I'm just an opinion. How many of y'all are witnessing and seeing certain individuals? I mean, I looked at these people in these cars riding by that cop beating that melanated woman for no reason. Yeah, he got fired and she got paid. But nobody jumped out of the car and go over there whoop his ass. Worried about that little costume and his gun? That one little damn gun, a long rifle? Seriously? Oh, you worried about retaliation. So that means that this is what the broken family comes at. Everywhere you live, everybody walking around compliant to self-hate and no communication and connection. Or you live in a liberal state where everybody's together, but they all dumb. So in the conservative states, you got a bunch of peckerwoods. It's not the same everywhere, y'all. Believe me. A lot of people aren't peckerwoods. A lot of Pelicans aren't peckerwoods. Peckerwood's derogatory. Just like nigga to me is derogatory. You got a lot of melanated people that get together and will look out for each other. But you got some, they can easily be bought for $1,000, $2,000. Easily. All right? We're going to come back later on. We're going to read these. Okay? Don't worry. We're going to get into the one with the sisters. I know y'all want to hear some more of that hoodoo stuff. All right? Bobby Hemming. I told you y'all got to dig deep and use some real magic. All right? But who's on? What's that? David Koresh. Yeah. No. I'm talking about the Army Delta Force guy who was off the grid, not bothering nobody. They went up there, murdered his son. The Japanese guy killed his wife. Remember the Japanese fed shot his wife through the door, holding a baby. You know what I'm saying? Killed the dogs. Some of them got shot that just desert. The Waco, Texas. You have also the FBI building, but you have the like I said. What was the guy? What was it? I don't feel like looking at it. It's going to have to load up and everything like that. Actually, I actually saw a video a couple years with him talking. You know what I'm talking? Ruby Ridge. That's it. Thank you, Gaji. Yeah, Ruby Ridge. And those are just a few because you got to think about the move. 1984, was it 85? Over there in Philly. Dropping a satchel charge of C4. Like who the fuck? That's for war. Because they went in there shooting a bunch of peckerwoods in costume. And the motherfucker shot back, as they should have. And by law, you have every bit of reason. See, this is what people don't know. The witch card already told you the police are not there to serve and protect. So what is the fuck is the problem? You get these people that go into the force to want to do the right thing, but they go in there with biasness and racist ideologies, and this is what the system wanted to create. And not all of them are corrupt, but there are those who see it. You know, I remember that one dumb, goofy Negro. When the guy, it was a $2 million settlement. They tasered that kid on the ATV, driving in a car. Dirty ass pig cop. But then you look at the nigga sergeant to come on scene. Escort him for what? We only do that for the police. Fuck him. And the kid died. Okay? They didn't render no help. They don't want to show you the dash cam, the video. They outright killed that little boy riding the ATV. These nasty little fuckers. And you got a whole lot of them still on the forces right now. And a lot of y'all still compliant to their bullshit. And you always hear them say, but don't call the police. When you motherfucker, I'm going to handle the problem. I'm a first responder, motherfucker. I'm going to deal with some shit. See, and I got a whole bunch of people around me who are quiet, that's kept. They're going to deal with it too. We got individuals that move these cop cars around, and they're not who you think they are, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not here to expose that either. The issue at hand is they have weapons that you don't have, that you're supposed to have. You're supposed to be able to train against everything, but everybody's so separated and pushed away that they're able to go and do these things based upon false pretenses. Like I was saying, I was speaking who was I talking about that let me see if I can pull it real quick. I don't have TikTok on this anyway. The ex-Desert Storm soldier who became a police law enforcement officer, which they don't enforce law. They enforce policies that, if you looked at the video by Judge Snap, policies don't mean shit. Okay, they don't mean a thing. Actually, they're unconstitutional. So to hell with their policies. That's about revenue, and that's corrupt in itself. You dig what I'm saying? Hey, Virginia Harris, how you doing, hon? Yes, no, Ruby Rich. That's it, baby girl. Bobby Hammett. Okay, let me pull him up. Well, damn. It stopped loading and it's loading all this stuff. I really have too much tabs. I might have to just go ahead and shut them all down. I mean, I hate doing that because I like to sometimes go back on it. Oh, I remember that. It's just me, y'all. Okay, here we go. Really? It just started uploading some more tabs. This internet is just ridiculous. Okay. I know, I'm gonna have to get rid of some of them I don't need up there. I will. Here we go. What was his name? Christopher Dorner, I think his name was, right? So I'm not gonna get into it. Anyway, I know that I know that he had complained about the police being corrupt. He wrote letters and everything, and they retaliated. They were harassing him, and he told them leave him the fuck alone. And they kept threatening him, calling him. And see, y'all don't get that story because the media is a fucking lie. I can't believe some of y'all still watching the news. I guess because where the news centers are at, the ones that lie so much, that they got enough dumbass liberals around them, so they're not worried about anybody coming in there and busting their ass because they believe the lies they're being told. Trust me, I got people I grew up with, Montclair, Jersey, and they put all that shit from CNN and all that garbage, you know, because they're stupid. Anywho, Christopher Dorner, they hunted him down, and literally other people who might have been good officials believed in the story pen, and some today now believe it was a lie, and they murdered a man who was going after the corrupt fucking costume characters. Corrupt. And good thing he put down a couple of them motherfuckers. He should have went about it smarter than that. But he was a police officer and he didn't have his network of his team, and who was really gonna believe him when the media was spewing all this hate and lie? That's why I tell y'all to stop paying attention to the damn media. Okay? I'm not here to push hate and violence, far from it. But I'm saying is as far as the truth. Because see, the censorship, the lies and all that, it's gonna be undone. And a lot of them people are going to step down from their jobs because they believe they might have insight about what's really going to happen anyway. All right? So I just wanted to share that. Okay? You dig what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks, Snoop. But yeah, I'm going to have to hit on that. You know, I'll be hitting on that, saving all that. Well, I like to have a copy of the original Confederation Constitution. How do I go about getting one? No, just go on. You just go ahead, go on the Library of Congress and pull up the Federalist Papers. And you can, I don't know how much, I don't know if it costs anything, whatever. Go and see what they got. Mine was passed down. You know what I'm saying? Even Uncle Gary was like, well, you got the Federalist Papers? I was like, yeah, Mama Tina made sure. She's like, just keep this. I don't care where you at. Just never let it go. I ain't never said shit. Mama Tina was always right. I ain't say nothing to nobody. I ain't tell nobody. When I was in the military, I said a different oath. I said something different from what everybody else said. The motherfuckers wanted to stop me. Somebody was like, no. Everybody else ain't saying it. He's fine. That's why I say these motherfuckers don't know that I can collect a whole lot fucking more. And they so stupid. I can pension and all that. I can get fucking 10, 20 shit just because of who I am. I have no problem taking a knife, going like this, and putting my thumbprint on anything. None whatsoever. Anyway, that's a whole nother dynamic. You see what I'm saying? Too many people live in lies and they're comfortable in it. Sadly. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, beloved? Yeah. Chief Dark Bull, what's going on, beloved? What's happening? Hey, Booby Brothers, what's going on, beloved? Herba, yeah, I already got you. Yes. What's cracking? All right, it's good to see everybody in the house. But I hope y'all enjoyed that reading. And like I said, we're gonna come back. It's gonna be in like 2 hours, about 7. So that'll be about 10 o'clock East, and guys over here, up to Ohio, I think, which is an hour difference. So we're going to be reading Gods of Eden, Reptilians and the History of the Humankind, and the Half of Material. Women, I'm definitely going to get back into the other books because I got so many books now, and I got more coming. So, and I just love it. We finished Arthur Koestler's 13 Sharab. I can get into I can read to y'all if anybody wants. You just let me know my email. If you want some of his sources and references, I can break those down depending on the century and stuff like that. Il Amin and all those different things. Talking about Hispaniola when it was no Moors spoke about. Moors be easy. All right. I'm the messenger. All right. That's all I'm saying. Everything we have perceived, you need to know a lot of it's a lie. And you see a lot of people arguing, science, doctrine, religion. It keeps division, not diversity. All right? Wait, let me get over here. I gotta use the bathroom. Yeah, I put about 5 tablespoons of oil, and that was lamb from the reservation. That was real lamb. Yep. Got to slaughter it myself. Yes. You better know how to slaughter some shit. You better know how to cut around the ankles and skin some shit. You better know how to what? Shoot, y'all better learn if you don't. Hey man, until we get these greenhouses and the right heirloom vegetables growing all together. I broke my back. Besides falling off the roof, because I do roofing. And that big 1/10 of an acre garden I grew. And some of y'all saw those pictures, the corn, the different colors. I know y'all were like, well, the watermelons, the squash, the beans, 3 sisters, cabbage, spinach, collard greens. It's growing it all, y'all. All right. So anyway, number of love and respect. Appreciate y'all taking the time, man. We're at an hour. I want to beat the hour, but it's all good. And y'all share this, all right? Truly appreciate you guys, my beloved sisters. I love when y'all come in. My brothers, it's always 2 on the 1. All right? I already broke it down. If you don't know, go back and watch the video, okay? I'm not going to keep saying the same thing over and over. Y'all have a grand evening, 7 o'clock. I will be back on to read those 3 books right there. We'll get a little more into the functionalities of it. And I will show the map again, too. So we stop believing in some outer space shit. All right? There's something up there, and it's probably watching, maybe. Possibility. We'll see.